Getting drunk on dates and messing up your sleep because of nightlight lays are terrible for health, and after living such a lifestyle for multiple years, I finally wanted to get more fit. I've tried it before and I did pretty well until I didn't. There was always a reason to stop living the healthy lifestyle. A day game trip, an injury, or simply getting back into smoking weed, but fuck it. I'm 37 and I want to change it, so I started to work with a fitness coach. The guy I chose to work with is not only my former student, a guy with a lot of day game experience, but I also know multiple day gamers he has helped, and the before and after results were incredible. Not just right after finishing working with him, but I've seen them still be fit a year later. Daygame and fitness has been a requested topic for a long time, especially I get a lot of questions about doing sober dates or drinking less on dates, so I decided to invite the coach I chose to work with, Yash, who you might know as Mr. Majestic from previous podcast episodes, to talk about 4 questions. We'll talk about alcohol on dates, how to do sober dates or limit how much you drink. Also, I'll talk about travel, how it messes everything up, and why health and fitness are actually the reasons I'm traveling much less now. We'll get into weed and fitness and sleep, specifically how late night dates fuck with your sleep, fitness, and health in general. If you like what you hear, check out his Instagram in description. And now let's get into the conversation with Yash. And here we finally are with Yash, talking about topics that a lot of people have asked about. Hey Yash, how are you doing?
All well, thank you. Pleasure to be here. Hope you well as well. Yeah.
We're here because I have selfish reasons. I have very selfish reasons. As I explained in the introduction, Yash is a very good fitness coach. And, you know, there are a lot of people doing stuff, a lot of people teaching things and being fitness coaches. So in the beginning, I was like, oh, whatever, he's a fitness coach. That's fucking cool. I mean, good luck. But I never really paid attention. But then I saw a few before after stories from guys I've coached from my former day game students. And I've seen several day gamers have epic transformations, epic before and after pictures. And what's important is that it wasn't just the before and after. I've met these guys months after finishing the program, and I've seen them still being in great shape. So I decided, fuck this. This sounds interesting. You offered to do something with me, to work with me a few times, and I took you up on it. So now you're helping me get in shape because, you know, I've dabbled with it, but I've never really gotten there. There's always been some, you know, obstacles along the way. So while we're going to be talking about fitness, we're going to be talking about fitness from the perspective of day game and dates and traveling, because you worked with quite a few day gamers. We could say you are a former day gamer, like a not overly active day gamer right now, but, you know, still understands how things works and keeps the edge sharp, if we can call it like that. So the 4 topics that I asked you to prepare topics that we could talk about, and we polished them a little bit. So just so everyone knows what we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about 4 topics. We're going to be talking about alcohol on dates. So how to do sober dates or limit how much you drink. I think out of all the dating questions when it comes to health, this is hands down the number 1 most requested topic. I've had so many guys ask for this, but I've never really done sober dates. So finally, we're going to be talking about it. We're going to talk about travel, day game travel or regular travel, how it messes everything up with the fitness. And this is actually one of the main reasons why I'm traveling less right now, because I want to focus more on my fitness, on jiu-jitsu and things like that. And travel doesn't really work with it. So we're going to look at how you can change your travel so it fits your fitness goals as well. We're going to talk about weed and fitness and sleep, because let's be honest, we do a lot of late night nonsense, dumb stuff like drinks at night and then, you know, lays that end at like 2 a.m. So it all fucks with the fitness goals. And I think let's start with the most requested one. Let's start with alcohol. How do you think? Is that a good plan?
Yeah, let's start with alcohol. So, I'll take the lead right here. If you're okay with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the dating community, in the pickup community, and just generically, like as per courtship, people think like, okay, you got to have a few drinks basically, and I understand why that happens. There's like good reason behind it because if you have like a drink with a girl or with a girl, like the way alcohol affects a woman is very different than the way alcohol affects a man. You know, if she's probably going to be having like a drink or two with you, and you're having like deep chats with you, she's probably going to feel it far more. She's going to feel that deep connection. Basically, it's like the oldest ritual in history. Basically, now. And if she's drinking, but if you don't drink, it's a bit weird because she's probably going to go like, "Ooh, this guy's trying to get me drunk or whatever," you know. But then, like, the, those are legitimate reasons, and yes, you need to go through a period where um, you're going to go out and go for a couple of drinks. She's going to go for a couple of drinks, and then if you don't really have enough control, alcohol's going to deplete nutrients from your system, and then you want to replenish it, and that's when the cheeseburger at 3 a.m. after a failed date happens, you know? So, yeah, like, yeah, or like, even if you had a successful date and you basically, like, she's in your bed or something like that, and then you feel hungry afterwards, you know? You're going to order a pizza and you're going to eat together, basically, and that feels very good, you know? Now, how, like, I've done all of that, and it's like dating without alcohol is hard. It's not easy. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this with everyone. So the way I probably tell everyone is, um, if you, and I work with my friends here at Daygame, but the way I tell them is you got to be doing the standard date menus, like venue one, venue two, basically. And then instead of doing like late night dates, do venue one in like a bit of a coffee shop where it's like low energy, and then do venue two in like a bit of a uh, in like a cocktail bar on a bar like right next to your house. And then these days you also get that 0% alcoholic beer. Basically, you also get like you don't have to order your drinks in front of her with the bartender. You probably can ask her like, "Hey, what do you want?" You know, and then she's probably gonna go like wine or beer, and then you can have your own like 0% alcohol beer, or you can also have like a sparkling water with like a bit of a lemon inside it. And then she's probably gonna think like, "Oh, it's vodka." Now I'm saying you gotta lie or something like that, but when she does ask, I mean, don't lie. I mean, just tell like, "I don't want to drink." And then a couple of times girls have asked me like, "Why aren't you drinking? Why are you making me drink?" I'm like, "Well, if I'm gonna ask you out for like a date, you want me to take you for green tea? You know, how weird is that?" So yeah, but I'm like, these are the rules. I'm just playing by the rules. So it's like what I do is I break the fourth wall. I call out the elephant in the room, you know, and she's gonna laugh. And if she wants to drink, she's probably basically, you know. And more often than not, some girls will probably make a fuss around it because they might feel insecure that you're taking your health and fitness seriously, but they are not taking their health and fitness seriously. And this is not a girl-related thing. But this has been a people-related thing, basically, because if you take your health and fitness seriously, but people around you peer pressurize you into doing shit that you don't want to do, then it's more of like they're feeling insecure rather than you. And then you probably want to hold your boundaries, basically. And this comes under the concept of frame. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to say around this. So like 0 calorie beer, no, 0% alcohol beer, or like replace it with like a sparkling water. Or even if you do want to drink, go and replace it with like a Guinness, like the way you told me the other day. Or you can replace it with like 1 or 2 drinks of vodka, squeeze it within your calories, basically. Or like 1 or 2 glasses of wine. You don't need to get smashed, you know? Yeah. And, but then,
Because
go ahead.
Guinness is just a surprising thing. I didn't know that. It turns out
Yeah.
Guinness has so like so few calories. It's ridiculous. Like I think having like Guinness or two in a day, calorie wise, is like okay, it was nothing really there. It's like so few calories. It's like having an apple, basically. You know.
Yeah. And, like a couple of things, like, I've, I've had my fair share of like dates where the girl often made a fuss. "Oh, you're so boring. Oh, you're so this, you're so that," basically. Uh, and, and like right now I've reached a point where if she does that, she ridicules me or something like that. Like, I don't want that, you know? And, and like, that's not what I'm looking for, basically. Genuinely.
Yeah. You can see this a lot with Ukrainian girls because a lot of girls that I met in Ukraine, they didn't drink, or they maybe had like a drink or like maybe two, but they in general they don't drink, and it's because they've seen a lot of negative effects in that environment. They see a lot of people getting, drinking their life away. And so if you start pushing alcohol in them, you're going to get the opposite reaction. They're going to basically see you as this drunken idiot who's basically an alcoholic and can't live without alcohol. But it's a bit of extreme because they sometimes have these polarizing experiences where you have people who drink shit ton and then you have a bunch of girls who actually don't drink. So, but I have never seen, I've met a lot of girls like that who don't drink on dates, but I've never really pushed for that. Get a non-alcoholic drink, and then for them if they want to. And I still had my beer or whatever. So what are some other options? We can do Guinness. What if someone wants to have a drink? What are the best drinks to have on dates, calorie wise?
Yeah, so like clean spirits are probably like your best option because 30 ml of vodka is going to be like 50 to 60 calories, which is more or less like, I don't know, like this much watermelon. Gin or vodka is going to be like your best friend. Then after that, like a level above will probably be like red wine, which is going to be like one glass is like 74 to 80 calories. Then it's probably going to be whiskey, which is probably going to be like one drink is like 85 calories basically. And then it's probably going to be beer. Beer is going to be extremely dense basically. But then if you want to pace your drinks really, really well, I probably said beer is going to be like good because one beer is like far more fluid volume compared to like one drink of vodka or gin, which is just like a small drink and you can finish that in something like 10 minutes, Whereas a beer, you can like really pace it across over something like 1 hour,
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if you're the type of person who can drink one beer in 1 hour, basically.
I can drink 2 beers. I don't have a problem with getting shit faced after 2 drinks. But some people do have the problem. They have one drink, they have 2 drinks, and then they just go off the rails. Uh, uh, I've tried skinny bitch once, which is like vodka, sparkling water, and like a lemon slice, and it wasn't as bad as it sounds. So I guess that's doable. If someone was trying to, if someone is living a healthy lifestyle and trying to get fit, what would you say is the absolute maximum drinks they should have on a date, saying that they're having maybe 1 or 2 dates a week and that's the only time they drink?
Yep. So on average, like 3 to 4 drinks per week is not really a bad idea at all. So if you're having like 2 dates and you keep like 2 drinks per date, basically, that comes up to 3 to 4 drinks and you squeeze that within your calories. That's peanuts. Like your body's not even going to know. But then I work with Daygamers basically who go for 4 dates and they need alcohol to talk.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
So
that's a crutch.
You're using alcohol as a crutch and you're not relying on yourself. And what you teach is the person to be self-reliant, So, yeah, I mean, that's messed up. And then in that particular case, I sit down and have a chat with the person. I'm like, dating, you're actually going out to put a band-aid on your wound for something, So, but to answer your question, like 3 to 4 drinks max per week is a good idea. And squeeze it within your calories. You need to even go out of your way and do something.
So how can someone determine the max for them? Because I assume, if you're like 23 and you have, let's say you have 4 drinks on a date and it fits within your calories and you've had enough protein and you've had enough fiber and whatnot, and you have zero hangover, it affects you like there's no negative effects on you the next day. Whereas me, I'll have 3 drinks, and then the next day I'm going to be lazy and hangover. And so I would probably, stick with less, but would it be fine for someone who's younger or for someone in general for whom alcohol has no effect on how he feels and performs the next day? Is it more flexible for people like that?
Yeah. So, the reason why people even get hangovers in the first place, it largely comes down to their fluid balance. So alcohol is going to make you flush out fluid. The age thing is pretty much skewed. Someone like me, I'm pretty sensitive. 2 drinks messes me up. It's that messed up. But then if you're young, let's probably say 17, 18, your hormones are raging. So alcohol is not going to mess you up that much. But then as and when you get older, you got to start looking out for shit like this. It's very, you feel, and then you can gauge that basically. But also be hydrated because you might blame your hormones, but in reality, you might not be hydrated and alcohol flushes that fluid from your system, which messes up your erections and all of that basically,
So how much water for each drink?
Yep. So it really depends on the location. Someone like me, I'm in Dubai basically. So I basically consume like 4 to 5 liters of water, while I was in Vietnam, while I was in Thailand, I was consuming like 5 liters basically. Now, if when I went to a place like Russia, I was drinking 2 liters. You know, and it comes down to how you feel morning food wise. That's like a
Okay.
very, very, very important.
Can we give guys a ballpark number for each drink you have on a day? Have this many milliliters of water.
Yep. So, I mean, everybody should be consuming 3 liters, but then if you know you're going to be consuming 2 drinks, add in like an extra liter of water on top of that. Push in a lot of salt as well in your foods, because alcohol is going to deplete sodium from your body, and that's when you want to have like high sodium foods like a pizza or like salty nuts, and you want to have like you just want to replenish your sodium levels, and you want to have some Coke and all of that. So, like per 2 drinks, add in like a liter of water, taking a hell load of electrolytes,
Okay.
and
Okay. Great. Let's jump to the next question. Let's jump to traveling. So for me, traveling is, I used to do the nomad stuff for 5 years. Now I've slowed down. I'm still heading to Argentina in a few days. Well, when this is published, I'm already in Argentina. I'm going to be in Latin America for 2 months, but I don't want to travel as much because each time I change location, it takes a few days for me to adapt. Like the first days are a mess. Then I get back to my kind of morning routines, and I go join a jiu-jitsu gym. I find the gym if I'm working out. So it always like takes quite a bit of time to kind of settle in. And then let's say within like 4 or 5 days, I'm really settled in. But if I'm there just for a month, then, like 15 to 20% of the month is already fucked up. Then I go to a new place where I'm for 2 weeks, and there, 2 weeks, and I've spent 4 to 5 days to just get settled. It's all a mess. So and you've traveled some places as well, both for Daygame and not just for Daygame. So how do you see we can improve our travel so that it fits better with our fitness lifestyle or healthy lifestyle?
Okay. So, beautiful question. So, I'm going to answer this question. When a newbie day gamer, basically, when he first discovers day game, he needs to go through a period where he's going to get obsessed with it. There's no way around it, basically. You got to go all in, yeah, anybody who's listening to this, like, you're not going to become a good or serial dater or like a good day gamer with balance. Like, fuck that. Yeah, deal with it. But then
you're going to get drunk and travel.
Yeah, you have that sleazy generosity period. Like it is what it is. But then soon you're going to realize like it's taking a toll on you, and that's when the balance comes in the picture. So then the next step is like when you get good at day game in your city, then you're probably going to start traveling, and that's going to further mess up your health. Like there's no way around it basically. But then what I discovered in the last 2 years was working sprints and like day game sprints. So I stay in my country for 3 months, accumulate a lot of work around my business, accumulate a lot of health and fitness, and then 1 month every quarter I go to another country. That's what I do basically. And I often tell people like if you want to like get healthy and fitter, you need to be staying in the same gym. You need to be progressively overloading shit. Like even in jiu-jitsu, you need to be staying and working under the same coach for a prolonged period of time. You need to be waking up on time. You need to be sleeping on time. And that's only going to come if you sleep on the same bed. That's only going to come if you're measuring your meals, etc. And then when you accumulate enough health, the sheer fact that you're going to be traveling gives you a little bit of cushion to accumulate a little bit of degeneracy, basically, because an ounce of degeneracy is going to give you heaps of productivity. That's the first thing that I tell to someone who's done day game for years, who's been traveling, and I'm like, you might want to slow down a little bit right now, and then when you're going to be traveling, for someone like me, what I do is the first thing that I do is find a gym. If I'm going to be prepping my meals, I find an Airbnb with a kitchen inside it, or I find a meal prep. There's no other way around it. Basically, there's absolutely no other way around it. I work with day gamers who go for like 10-day week-long trips to Krakow, really mess up their health. They come back. I'm like,
yeah, if they're eating out.
Yeah, if you're going to go and if you're shit at prepping your meals, you need to delegate that basically, so that find people who do it better than you, so that you can focus on the things that you're good at, which is day game. So there's pretty much no way around it. Then I have them scale down their training frequency. If you're training 5 days per week, I scale it down to 3 days per week, which can be done anywhere. Let's keep it real,
Yeah.
Or sometimes like if they're going to go for like a week, I'm like, don't even train for like a week, you accumulate enough progression inside the gym, give yourself like a bit of a deload. It's like a tapering off period, basically. But that basically is it. But then I'll probably say you can go for a trip for after you accumulate at least 4 to 6 weeks worth of progress consistently around your health and fitness. 4 to 6 weeks worth of progress, 1 week of rest, go for like a trip, 4 to 6 weeks, or do it in like work sprints, which for 3 months, and then 1 month go and accumulate some degeneracy. That's what I tell everybody. And traveling is going to mess up your circadian rhythm. So in the first week when your sleep, etc., is going to be messed up, it doesn't make sense for you to go that hardcore inside the gym. You're better off even taking some time off, or you're better off training, because that's going to help you restore your sleep cycle. So it's highly individualized, and I need to work with the person to see how his sleep patterns are. And then I'm like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, basically. Does that answer your question, man?
Yeah, because that's why before we started working with you, I said I want to kind of talk with you about how the program could look, and then decide whether I want to do this when I get back from my Latin America trip or while I'm there. But then I thought about it and I realized that in the past, I'm okay. Like I can eat clean and work out and train and whatnot when I'm in one location. I don't really, if I decide I'm going to do it, I don't have problems with that until I get injured, which happens sooner or later. But I always struggle with this while traveling. So I decided to start the program with you exactly before the trip, so that I'm going through it while I'm traveling, and so that I can have you help me kind of figure all the shit out while I'm on this trip. Because it's not like I'm going to travel less. And now it's not like I'm not going to travel. And if I have a bunch of trips throughout the summer, like maybe a few weeks here, a few weeks there, I better use this opportunity to develop kind of routines or whatnot, something that works wherever I am, so that I can go to like Barcelona to go to student for like a few weeks. And I know that I'll be able to still work on my fitness, still work out, maybe probably not do some jujitsu because I'll be too tired from walking. But that kind of was my thinking why I chose to start working with you right now. The one question I have about traveling before we move on to the next topic is, what about nomads? Have you worked with a lot of nomads, and then how does this change for them?
Yeah. Like, in fact, one of my best transformations was with nomads. In fact, if you're going to be traveling by yourself, and if you got enough, if you're sensible, and if you're alone, and if you're going to be staying in one location for like a month, which I think is like the average day gamer who's a digital nomad, it's in fact going to be beneficial, because you're not going to be having negative distractions. The only distractions are probably going to be dates, and you're going to be having time when you're traveling, because we day gamers are pissed poor tourists, Yep. So,
Yeah.
like in some cases, depending on the person, if the person is coachable, I ask them to stay in a deficit. Sometimes if they don't want to cook their meals, I do the groundwork. I explore like what are the meal preps around that particular location, and then I'm like, and depending on how the person is psychologically, I go like, okay, let's still progress. Or if the person is like an all or nothing mentality, which is horrible for getting fit even in the first place, I'm like, you're better off maintaining your progress. Yes, it's probably going to take you a bit longer, but you're not going to come back like 2 steps backwards after moving 2 steps forward. And then I probably tell them, go and get like a gym like right next to your house, so that you don't have to take that much mental effort to go to the gym, basically, and then don't spend on cabs. The best insurance policy against you getting fat on a trip is just simply walk a shit ton. Go out and do more day gear. You're going over there for that. So your steps are going to go up. You're not going to get fat, and it's cool. I've always come back leaner back in the day from a trip when I was hardcore day gaming, basically.
Yeah, I was thinking, why is Yash so, asking me about my steps? Who cares how many steps I take? But then I asked ChatGPT how many calories 10,000 steps burn for my body weight, and it was like 600 calories, around like 600, and that was active burn, excluding kind of basic metabolic rate. And it's like, oh my god, that's a lot. So I get, if you go day game for 2 hours, that's already at least 10,000 steps, and that's quite a bit. That's like 10 Guinness beers.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like I still use a couple of supplements as well. So by that I mean, you heard about berberine. Berberine is pretty good. Like, it's like a natural version for metformin. I use metformin, but it just suppresses your hunger to a certain degree. Helps you resensitize your hunger hormones, because when you're stressed, when you're like jet lagged all over the fucking place, your hunger hormones are going to be all over. You're going to stress eat. That's when the cheeseburgers are going to come in, you know. And then I often use a little bit of fasting because people are usually like poor at preparation. So if they don't want to think, okay, fast from morning till afternoon, have like a day game session when you're fasting. And then from afternoon to evening, let the calories when you're going to go out on dates, basically. So I use a few tools like these. Sometimes I don't even have them track their calories and macros. Sometimes I just have them rely on portion sizes, basically, you know, and have them. But there are like a couple of tools that I use basically from person to person.
Yeah, because I saw that they're available in your app when people join the program. Like if someone does, they can see kind of there's a video about how do you eat out, like how do you figure out kind of what to do. And then okay, let's. I know you're limited on time, so let's kind of run over two more questions that we have, and let's go into weed and fitness because I know you've coached some guys who used to smoke a lot, and
Yeah.
so what do you have to say about that?
Okay, so again, I'm going to stay with experience because I used to love smoking a lot of weed. So I'm going to speak from my experience, and then if I've done it, then I can probably coach it. There's some people who are completely normal when they're smoking weed. They don't get the munchies and all of that, you know. And there are some people who often lose their shit. I'm one of them. Yeah. So if you're on a fat loss phase, weed is not really a good idea. And if you're anybody's going to be smoking some weed, basically I'm not going to advise against it or for it, but if you're anybody's going to do it, keep it towards the end of the day after you've done everything. After you've done everything, like keep the food away from you, keep like basically cold block yourself into eating more food. Second thing is there are some people who use weed as a bit of a pre-workout, you know. I've done that basically. And the mind muscle connection is insane. If you mix it with a little bit of caffeine, with like a bit of a pre-workout, I don't advise anybody doing that. I was just trying things on myself. But then immediately after the workout gets over, like I found myself binging. So it's like when I'm in a fat loss phase, when my calories are low, I just stay away from it basically. Now, when you're bulking, which most of the people don't, it's going to come in really handy because it's going to help you with your appetite because your food's going to be that high. Second is if you use any of these stimulants, alcohol, weed, caffeine, etc. This is a stimulant basically. It's going to alter your vibe when you're out approaching, you know. So I personally can really connect with the person when I'm actually out there day gaming approaching. But then, yeah, like don't do it anymore. But if it doesn't give you any of those munchies, it doesn't make you lazy, it helps you with productivity, I mean, you're good, literally good, you know. But everybody has like a bit of an individual response. The second thing is if you're in a country where it's legal, then you can pull back to your place, not for alcohol, not for food, but for like weed, which has no calories, and then extremely plausible, and it makes the process really simpler. I think so. You've done that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
I've done it in some places, but then yeah, sometimes it ends with I get hungry, so I drink more wine because I like the taste. So like yeah, so in my experience, for someone like me, I just had to become honest with myself about the effects weed has on me. And it doesn't go hand in hand with my goals and with my lifestyle. I have crazy munchies unless I find like the perfect strain, which is really hard to do. Like it's with some strains that don't have munchies, but it's super unlikely. And then it makes me lazier. It really fucks with my sleep and it makes me more depressed. So for me, I made a decision that weed doesn't really fit with my goals, with my lifestyle, and I just stopped smoking because of that. So,
yeah. And like to a lot of people, if you're in a muscle building phase with me, you know, then I'll probably prescribe it as once a week sort of a thing, you know,
yeah,
as a bit of a sleep refeed, you know, like a sleep cheat. That's what it is.
The painful topic of sleep,
yeah.
which is a painful topic for day gamers because sometimes you come home with a chick and then you make out and it's like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then you go to bed at like 5 a.m. Or maybe if it's just you go to bed at 1 a.m. If you're not 20 anymore, then well, in your 20s anymore, that's going to affect you on the next day. So what have you found the effects to be on fitness and how do you usually solve this with your students or clients or...
Yeah. If you don't sleep, like to a lot of people, I still tell them, still go to the gym, but then I don't want you to hit PRs, like personal records. I don't want you to hit your previous goals. And when you take like a localized deload, which is like reduce your weights and reps by 30%, so that we keep the muscles warm. The second thing is I inform them, listen, you've done this to yourself. Take responsibility for it. You're a fucking grown up, behave like one. So if you've not slept properly, accept that your body's not shut down and you need more calories to function and your cravings are going to be high. Deal with it, Or if the person is like really irrational, I work with a lot of irrational day gamers basically, I probably ask them to push their calories up to maintenance. So yeah, that's like those are some things that I have them do. The second thing is if they're really, really stressed, I ask them to go and get like a massage, or I ask them to go and like really, really chill. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it, but there's no way around it. Basically, you got to accept the fact that, you're going to be disrupting like your sleep once or twice per week. And it comes down to your time as a day gamer. So it comes down to your calendar management, how tight you are with your schedule, and like shuttling your dates, usually towards on a Saturday or Sunday,
So the advice would be for day gamers to kind of figure out which evenings which days you can afford maybe to be more tired and schedule your dates before these dates. So if you know that your weekend is going to be more chill, then you do like Fridays and Saturdays for dates. You're going to be a bit more tired. Maybe you have time to take a nap during the day and don't push yourself to the max basically as well.
On that one, basically, let's probably say the person is running on a bit of a sleep deficit. I have them repay their sleep deficit by having them sleep in earlier the next day or having them take afternoon naps, because that does pay off the sleep debt that's accumulated. Or sometimes I often give them like a bit of a quota. Like you can only disrupt your sleep pattern maximum by like an hour and a half or like 2 hours, basically once per week, and like a lot of day gamers will probably go like, what's probably going to happen for day game? I'm like, chill out. You're going to realize like the fitter you get, the less work you need to do, by the way. I'm just letting you know at dates. Like I'm speaking with experience basically, so yeah, I mean, that exactly is it, but there's no way around it. You still got to do the grunt work, you still got to do the dirty work basically. So, yeah.
Let's be realistic. If you're a decent day gamer who's getting a lot of numbers, a lot of dates, then at the end of the day, you're still gonna get like two dates a week. Like it's hard. You go through the degenerate phase. Like that's not the phase where you're gonna be thinking about your fitness, nor should you, I think. But once you're over the degenerate phase, if you're a good day gamer, you're not gonna do more than 2 first dates each week, and then these are the dates. These are the evenings. You're gonna go to bed a little later. You're gonna be a bit more tired. Maybe you have to plan for that, but I think another thing to do is if you see your regulars, don't see them at 10 p.m. See them at like 5:30. Have fun. Have sex. Go to bed by like 10. And then I guess that could solve it as well. That's just my take on this.
And communicate with them. That often helps. It's not that they're standing in your way or something like that, but you can probably say like, listen, I need your support. I'm trying to do this, so if we can just be honest with them. I mean, more often than not, want to help.
Perfect. Well, I think these 4 questions were important for me, and I had a lot of questions about these 4 topics from other guys. So thank you a lot for answering them. Guys, we're going to be doing more content with Yash, and I'm going to be reporting about my progress when working with Yash, because I've been in his program for a week now. I weighed a little less. I compared the before after photos for 1 week. I look 2% better, but there's obviously still months and months of work, months and months of work to go through. I'll be posting about this on my Instagram at Rob the Church Boy and on X. So just search St. Robert Daygame and you're going to find me there. I'm going to be posting more about that there. But listen, if someone thinks that, this dude sounds like he knows what he's doing, he's worked with a lot of day gamers, and they want to reach out to you and talk about working with you, where do they go? How do they find you?
Yeah, on Instagram. I mean, I'll just give you my link. I think so. You're gonna post it below. But
it's gonna be in description of the video, of the podcast, and wherever you see this, it's in the description.
Yeah, so, that basically is it, and yeah, that's it.
Nice. Okay, dude. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for doing. I won't keep you anymore, and have a good day.
You too, man. You too.
If you like his approach on fitness, then check out his Instagram in description. But if you're not sure yet, you can just simply follow me on Instagram, where I'll be posting weekly updates about how I'm doing going through his program. That's it for this time. See you next time. Ciao, guys.